Hello and welcome to this weather update. It's around 9:30 p.m. October 9th, 2018, and we've got a lot of activity going on in the tropics. And of course, everybody's going to be talking about Michael. And but first, let's talk about Leslie very briefly. It's strengthening again. Tropical storm Leslie, maximum sustained wind 70 miles an hour. Its movement is south-southeast at 12 miles an hour. And then we have a new system that just formed, Tropical Storm Nadine, winds of 40 miles an hour, and its movement is to the west-northwest at 8 miles an hour. So we'll take a look at the forecast for Leslie again, and they have it. Looks like they have it impacting the Cape Verde Islands. Unbelievable. So that's pretty interesting. I'm not going to even look at Nadine. Let's take a look at Michael, because this is the monster here. It's Category 3 hurricane, maximum sustained winds 120 miles an hour, minimum central pressure 953 millibars, and this is the forecast for it. So it's going to make a landfall tomorrow, probably around early afternoon, on the coast of Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. And it's going to be pretty bad for them. It's going to come in as a Category 3. The saving grace is that you can see here it's going to move very quickly, and the other saving grace is that the remnants stay to the south of us. So that's some good news there in this forecast for us. But however, Florida Panhandle, southern part of Alabama, Georgia, and the Carolinas are probably going to see more rain, which is absolutely what they don't need right there after they're still recovering from Florence. So it's really so let's take a look at the latest statement on Michael. We can find it. Here it is, public advisory. So let's read it. Here we go. So we have a storm surge warning in effect for Okaloosa, Fort Walton County line in Florida to Alclote River, Florida. A storm surge watch is in effect for Alclote River, Florida to Anna Marie Island, Florida, including Tampa Bay. Hurricane warning is in effect for the Alabama-Florida border to Suwannee River, Florida. A tropical storm warning is in effect for Alabama-Florida border to the Mississippi-Alabama border, Suwannee River, Florida to Chuatz. I can't even pronounce that, Florida. Fernandina Beach, Florida to South Santee River, South Carolina. And a tropical storm watch is in effect for I can't even pronounce these names, I'm sorry, to Anna Marie Island, Florida, including Tampa Bay, and Mississippi, Alabama border to the mouth of the Pearl River, South Santee River, South Carolina to Duck, North Carolina, and Pamlico and Albemarle Sounds. All right, and the storm surge warning is going to be a pretty bad storm surge with this storm. So let's read the discussion here. At 7 p.m., the eye of Hurricane Michael was located near latitude 26.6 north, longitude 86.5 west. Michael is moving toward the north near 12 miles an hour. A northward motion is expected through tonight, followed by a northeastward motion on Wednesday and Thursday. On the forecast track, the center of Michael will move across the eastern Gulf of Mexico through tonight. The center of Michael's eye is then expected to move inland over the Florida Panhandle or Florida Big Bend area on Wednesday, and then northeastward across the southeastern United States Wednesday night and Thursday, and move off the mid-Atlantic coast away from the United States on Friday. Maximum sustained winds are near 120 miles an hour with higher gusts. Michael is a Category 3 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. Strengthening is expected overnight and on Wednesday, and Michael is forecast to be near Category 4 strength when it makes landfall in the Florida Panhandle or the Florida Big Bend area. Weakening is expected after landfall as Michael moves across the southeastern United States. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 45 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 175 miles. This storm is not a huge storm in area, but where it's going to hit, it's going to be really bad. So let's take a look at the satellite imagery. Let's go right now to Michael, because that's the main thing that we got to look at here. And you can see, here we go. It's I'll have to look at the radar too for that area too. But look at this thing. Wow! Look at how high those cloud tops are. This is a very intense hurricane, and it's strengthening. And it's very bad when they hit land when it's strengthening. So it looks like this area right here, I guess it's called the Big Bend area, is just going to get creamed. And this should be the top story, but the news, sadly, is not really talking about this that much. You know what they're talking about, and it's really unfortunate. Makes me wish I had the Weather Channel for sure. This is going to be devastating for the people here. Another terrible natural disaster that people are going to have to deal with. And then we'll look at the other storms here. Leslie, or has it as a hurricane again? Well, it's not a hurricane yet. It's strengthening. It's going to strengthen to a hurricane very shortly, though. There it is. So you can see it's moving over warmer waters and it's strengthening. It's a very unusual storm that it's been hanging around. Nadine. Let's look at Nadine. Nadine is a mess right now. A very weak, confused mess, which I'm not even going to wait for it to load because we have more important things to deal with. And then there's Sergio, too. Let's not forget about Sergio, which I think is now down to a tropical storm, which is good news. So, yeah, at least it looks like it's starting to weaken. So that's some good news. So we'll go and look at Sergio here. Go to the here. We'll see if they. Yeah, it is now a tropical storm. Weakened winds 70 miles an hour. So it is weakening. That's very good news. At least it won't be too strong once it gets to. It looks like it's now going more toward Mexico. So it looks like it may. The worst of it may even stay south of the United States, which is good news. Anyway, next we're going to look and see how the models are handling Michael, and I'll look at the radar image out of Florida. Alright, so here is a look at Hurricane Matthew on the radar. You can see the outer bands being picked up. Then here's that eye wall that's already starting to get picked up. So the outer bands are going to start approaching probably later tonight of Florida, and things are going to rapidly deteriorate. The good thing is this thing has movement, so it won't be sitting over the same area like Florence did, but it's still going to cause a tremendous amount of problems for sure. So let's take a look at the models and let's see the GFS, see how it's tracking here. So you can see it's actually strengthening it as it approaches. Look at that, it's going down to 947, and then right over the Panhandle right there. That area right there is just going to be devastated over there with the heavy rains. And then in Georgia too, it's going to go over Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to have a lot of wind and rain too from this. It's not going to weaken because it's moving quickly, so it's going to weaken, but it's going to take its time. And even over South Carolina and North Carolina, these are areas that don't need any more rain. Unfortunately, they're going to get more rain, and they're going to get some wind too. And then it tracks off to the northeast and out to our south on Friday. So let's take a look at the wind field. Let's see what the wind is going to be doing here, and see what the GFS wind field is. So here we go. So you can see that wind field. See those dark maroonish colors? Those are winds over 100 miles an hour there in the eye wall that are going to be affecting the area. So it moves inland. It does lose its wind a lot. By the time it makes it inland to Georgia, the winds are maybe Category 1 hurricane, or as it makes it out of Georgia, it'll probably be tropical storm force winds, but there'll be a lot of heavy rain, and I expect a lot of power outages in this entire area right here due to this. And then as it moves into South Carolina and North Carolina, it could cause more flooding in areas that don't need more rain for sure. And the wind might also cause some more scattered power outages. So that's the GFS. I want to take a look now at the Euro wind and see what the Euro wind field has. We're going to also look at the NAM and see how that goes. So let's take a look at the wind for the Euro. All right, so because the Euro goes higher with the wind. All right, so here is Matthew. And the Euro is a little slower. I think it's going to move a little faster than this. I think the Euro might be a little too slow, actually. And you can see those winds are definitely 100 miles an hour plus as it's strengthening. And then you look at that, it still has 100 mile an hour plus winds, or no, around 80 mile an hour winds over Georgia. So the Euro and the GFS have completely different ideas. I imagine as it gets over land, it should lose a lot of its wind fairly quickly. But Georgia is not going to get out as Atlanta. Atlanta is going to get creamed. Going to be a lot of power outages in that area. But you see, it's moving quick. By Friday morning, it's already merging out over the Carolinas. But there'll still be some intense winds with this thing. So this thing is going to really, it's going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of people, unfortunately. Let's go and look at the NAM. Let's see if we can get winds with the NAM. Yes, we can. Alright, so here's the highest resolution NAM I can give you. So the NAM is a little more like the GFS, and it has this thing really intense. Look at the wind speeds. Those dark maroon colors, those are wind speeds up 140 mile an hour winds. So this thing is going to be very intense and cause a tremendous amount of damage as it comes in over the Panhandle and then even over Georgia. Georgia, Atlanta, it still gives you hurricane force winds. I think Georgia is going to see hurricane conditions out of this too, believe it or not. And there's going to be a tremendous amount of power outages. I would say at least in the Panhandle, 100%. In Georgia, I would say 3/4 of people are going to lose power probably where this thing hits. And then it weakens a little more as it goes into South Carolina, but I still think there's going to be a lot of power outages going into Thursday and Friday over North Carolina, and then it emerges out over the water over there. So right around very early Friday morning. The good thing is it's moving fast. That's the good news. The bad news is it's going to be a very intense storm that's going to cause a lot of damage even farther inland. Because of its quick movement, it's not going to get the chance to weaken. So there's always two sides to every coin, and unfortunately, because of it not getting the chance to weaken, that is going to cause a lot of problems. And of course, there's all the rainfall that's going to occur. But the good thing is it's going to be moving quickly. So while it will rain heavy, and a lot of areas probably will receive a foot of rain, it won't be like what we saw in the Carolinas with Florence. Alright, so let's shift gears a little more to how this is going to affect our weather. Alright, so we're back at the GFS again. And we're back looking at Michael, and you can see it stays to the south, the heaviest of the rain. Looks like it tracks over D.C., Delmarva, maybe the extreme southern part of New Jersey Friday morning. Then it's offshore. It's out of here by Friday afternoon, and then we have nice weather for the weekend, Saturday, and possibly into Sunday too. So that'll be good, but and it'll be lower dew points too. That's the good news in all this. If we go and we go closer to our region, we'll take a look and see how the dew points are going to fare for the next couple of days. So let's take a look. We gotta wait for this to load. Put this back to today. The site is going to start slowing down because a lot of people are using it. So here we go. So it's going to get humid. It's going to be, well, it is humid already out there. Today wasn't too bad because it didn't get too hot. But the humidity stays with us Wednesday. And then Thursday we have this front right here, and I'm not some of the moisture from Michael could get into this front, but I think most of the activity is going to be thunderstorms, just related to the gradient between the difference between this is a really strong cold front and could trigger some strong and possibly severe thunderstorms, and then you have Matthew, the remnants of Matthew close by. It could be getting a little windy as we get toward Friday. Looking at some of these wind speeds. We could be seeing some intense winds as we go. So let me look at the cloud cover just to show you that they will be clearing out, and then Saturday, well, hopefully it'll be clear Saturday, but it's right now I got to focus on Matthew. I can't really focus on the sky conditions. Let's look at the temperatures and see what's going to happen with that. So tomorrow is going to be hot. Tomorrow is going to be the hotter day. 80. It's going to get near 80 degrees, and then Thursday not as hot because there'll be clouds around and some rain showers around, and then that front moves through. Friday it's much cooler, and it's almost like Michael is actually helping to flip this pattern. So let's take a look at the current conditions across the area today. Let's see how we fared very briefly. Farmingdale Airport, 69 right now. The dew point is 68. But there is a pretty decent breeze. The temperatures only got to the mid-70s despite the dew points being in the upper 60s, which, it wasn't too bad, even though it was very humid. It wasn't that hot, at least. I bet in Toms River they had a different scenario. Let's see what they dealt with today. I bet they hit 80. Oh, they hit 82. So there. So 80. Toms River hit 82, and it was more humid there, of course. So dew points in the 70s there. So there you go. We'll look at Ventus Sky and look again at how they did with the temperatures today. I'll put it back to around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. You'll see how much warmer it was in Jersey. Just to show you, you see 70s on Long Island, but look at Jersey, near 80 in spots. All right, so I just wanted to point that out to you. But anyway, we have a lot going on with Hurricane Michael, so that's the main thing we got to track. For us, we're going to be dealing with summer-like weather the next day or so. Tomorrow is probably going to be the hottest day and most humid because there will be more sun tomorrow, so it will probably get near 80 in a lot of areas. Upper 70s along the South Shore probably. If we go to tomorrow, we can look at that and see. Right here, so yeah. So in the South Shore, it'll be low 70s, but on the North Shore, it could be upper 70s, and then in Jersey, of course, it'll be over 80. So I'll have another weather update for you tomorrow as Matthew starts moving. Excuse me, Matt. No, I'm not mean Matthew. I keep getting the names confused. Michael moves onshore and Florida. We've got to pray for these people because they're going to really get hit very hard by this storm, and it's going to be devastating. We've seen way too much of that this year. Anyway, take care. Thank you for watching.